Well, hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in with us again. Hoffman Reproductions coming at you. And what we have here are musket caps. Now the top and bottom cap here are two commercially available musket caps. We have the CCI and the Hotter RWS. And here beside them I have two homemade musket caps. Now, believe it or not, the only real difference as far as practicality and reliability for detonating a black powder musket or firearm that takes these musket-sized caps, the only difference is these look a little prettier. They'd probably win a beauty contest, but when it comes down to shooting, these homemade versions here work phenomenally well. As you recall, several videos ago, back around Christmas time, we made a video that demonstrates and shows you how to home make your own percussion caps. That's a good method to do. It works reasonably well. The problem with it is you have to buy some specialized equipment. Of course, you have to buy that little die that we demonstrated to cut out the sheet metal aluminum, and also using the toy caps that I have here. Ignition reliability is pretty good, but occasionally you will get a misfire with those, as they are not the most potent caps in the world. Well, I got to scratching my head, researching a little bit, and wanted to come up with a way that will enable me and demonstrate to you guys how to make percussion caps with special emphasis on this musket size, because you can't buy that size of die for musket caps. Just shooting the 61 Springfield got me thinking about this, and came up with a way that works phenomenally well and is very easy, and you need very little to do this. What I have out here is a little section of wood. I'll demonstrate how to do this. Get these off of here. The thickness matches the length of the nipple on my musket, so that's what you'll need. I have a hole drilled in it that is about 1/4 of an inch, perhaps a hair more. You may have to adjust this. I'll demonstrate what that is for, but the thickness needs to match the length of the nipple. I have a small dowel rod with a whittled down end that is about the same diameter as the base of the nipple of my musket, so it has a nice snug fit when the cap goes on there. Get yourself some heavy-duty aluminum foil. The kind that I have used here is the type that is made for disposable cookware, casserole pans, that kind of thing. It's heavier than the sheet aluminum foil that you get. You'll need, again, our toy caps. Best place to get those, I get asked where can I get those, because toy stores don't really carry them that much anymore. Just do an online search. There's cap gun companies online. You can load up on them. A hole punch and a teeny little stick to insert the paper caps into the shell that we're going to be making here. And then my secret ingredient over here, which makes these musket caps extremely hot and very reliable. So to begin, just take the section of aluminum foil. This is about 1 inch by 2 inch. Fold it in half, crimp it down, and then with your fingers put it in the center and then just crimp it around it and press down. Doesn't have to be pretty. You may want to roll this back and forth on a table to help with the shape. Once you've got it rough form, take your little board, you might want a backer on it, and push down gently through the hole. You don't want it so tight that you rip through your foil, just tight enough that it forms the shell. Then I have another scrap piece of wood here, anything will do. Then I'm just going to take the ends that are sticking up and crimp them down. Once you have that done, just pull out your little stick and from the opposite direction push it out, and we have our musket cap formed. The salvage edge, you can take a pair of scissors and trim it up so it looks a little prettier. Okay, so we have our musket cap formed now. It's even got the little top hat shape like store-bought ones do. I hole punched out 3 of the toy roll caps you can buy for cap guns. We're going to put 2 of those cutouts into the bottom of this and press them down with this little stick, which I will do off camera because it's kind of boring. Okay, so I have 2 of these caps inserted down into the base. Stop at 2, and this is when we're going to put our secret ingredient in here, which makes these caps very hot and turns them into high quality musket caps. And our secret ingredient isn't secret at all. This is just our homemade gunpowder here. And one advantage of a musket size cap, you could do this with the rifle caps too, use this same setup and eliminate the need for the dye and extra tooling. But with the rifle size caps, there's not a lot of room in there. You could put a few granules, but in a musket size, go ahead and throw a few down in there. You know, I can probably get a dozen to a dozen and a half granules in there, not grains but granules. Now after that charge of powder is in there, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 more roll cap that's been punched out on top of that powder charge to keep it all in there. And there we have our finished musket cap. And I gotta tell you, these things work right on par with commercially available caps. They don't quite make as loud a snap when they go off, but as far as detonation, as I'm going to demonstrate because we're going to hop down to the range, these work very, very well. Before we head down to the range, you can also keep the caps that you have previously fired. Here's 2 that I fired the other day, and about every other cap on my musket comes out and it's still usable. The others are destroyed. But you can take these spent caps and reload them in the method that I just showed and eliminate the need to make your little foil housing and reload these, and they work great too. So bare minimum tooling, and you can produce very high quality, very usable musket caps. And just in closing, I will say the reason that I started doing this is musket caps and percussion caps in general, sometimes they're available, sometimes not, sometimes cheap, sometimes not, but in the coming months I've heard through the grapevine they're going to be getting more and more difficult to find. So if that does happen, this gives you an option with, you know, just some scrap pieces of wood really and a few other little things. This will keep your percussion guns and muskets shooting. If you're a reenactor, great choice. Dirt cheap to produce, and at the end of the day they flat out work and work well. So a great option for the do-it-yourselfer home reloader. Homemade musket cap, shot number 1.
That one. What did you hit? Did you hit the can?
Okay, first shot went off good, no hesitation. Shot number 2, homemade musket cap.
Was that a cap?
Okay, shot number 3, homemade musket cap. Okay, so as you can see there, no hesitation whatsoever with our homemade musket caps. I would highly recommend them. They'd work great for target shooting, reenacting, and if properly made, you won't be disappointed in them. Once again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.